Today's video is going to show you how to build a fire, and in particular one of my favorite type of fires, the log cabin fire. And why it's called that will be really apparent here in just a minute. As you can see, I'm using a fire pit instead of the ground because the fire department that's a couple blocks away from me probably wouldn't appreciate it if I started building fires in the middle of my yard. So we're using my fire pit, and I put a piece of cardboard in there just so the stuff wouldn't fall through the holes in the grate. But the rest of the stuff, all the materials for the fire, are things that you'll be able to find in the woods, so it should be a pretty good approximation of a campfire. If this were an actual campfire and you're building this on the ground, before you actually build it, what you want to do is clear an area about 10 feet in diameter around the area where you're going to build the fire, just because you want to start a campfire, not a forest fire. And also it's a good idea to dig a small pit and set the fire down in there, just because when you leave and you're done with your fire, you'll be able to cover that up and not really leave any traces for other people to see. So we're going to go and get started. We're going to start off with a couple pieces on the bottom. They're about 1 inch in diameter. We're going to set them just a little ways apart, and then we're going to put another level on top of that of slightly smaller diameter logs. And we're just going to keep on doing this for a little while. So put one more layer up there. You notice I'm going to set this one back a little bit, and you'll see why in just a bit. But the other ones you want to set at about the same level as the ones below them. Now on top of this layer, what we're going to do is actually put some small twigs, but before that we're going to stick some birch bark down in there, so it'll be easier to get this fire lit. The birch bark's not necessary. I mean, you could do this with just twigs and branches, but just for the purposes of the video, just to make this a little bit easier, we're going to put some birch bark down in there. And then on top of the birch bark, gotta love the train horn in the middle of the video, sorry about that, we're going to put some twigs, some small twigs, basically just the smallest ones that you can find, and put those, several of those on top of the birch bark. And now that we've got that, we're going to add another layer of the larger sticks. And then on top, what we're going to do is we're going to stick some slightly smaller twigs, or slightly larger, sorry. So, why did I build it this way? Well, there's several reasons. For one thing, obviously the tinder on the bottom is where we're going to start it. We're going to light it down here because flames are obviously going to go up. And then once the tinder that you have down on the bottom lights, it's going to light these smaller twigs, and when they light, they're going to light the larger twigs. As all that stuff lights, it's going to start lighting the outer layers. We use larger branches on the bottom for the actual base and structure of this, just because by the time these are burnt and they collapse, all the rest of this will be lit and the fire won't be snuffed out when it collapses. So we're going to go ahead and light this. What we're going to use to light it is just a petroleum jelly cotton ball and a 3/8 inch by 4 inch fire steel. Both of those you can get from me at goinggear.com. And I actually set aside a small piece of birch bark earlier just so when I light this I don't light myself on fire trying to put it in the fire. You can put this in there and light it while it's sitting in there, but I recommend doing it separately and then putting it in there, just because you may collapse all your hard work if you try to do it separately. So I'll get this down where you guys can see it a little bit better. And we're just going to use a fixed blade knife and the 3/8 inch by 4 inch fire steel. And stick the fire steel down into the petroleum jelly cotton ball and just strike it a couple times. Once we got that lit, put it on the piece of bark, and then we're going to put that piece of bark down in the bottom where I created that gap. one of the big reasons I really like this design is once you actually get it built, it may look like it's complicated, it's really not, but once you get everything built and you get it lit, there's really not much maintenance you have to do to it. A lot of the other styles that you'll see, you have to keep on adding stuff in there to keep it going and get it lit. But once you get that first little flame going, the rest of it takes care of itself and it'll light it. So you can go to other tasks, you can cook your food and get your tent ready, things like that. It doesn't require just quite as much supervision. I still recommend definitely watching any kind of fire that you build, just because, like I said before, you want to start a campfire, not a forest fire. So keep an eye on anything that you build. We're going to move my new HD camera back so I don't catch it on fire. But you can see once you get that first little part lit, I mean the rest of it lights by itself. So that's it for the video. If you have any questions about any of this, about building fires or fire starting materials or any other type of outdoor activities, you can reach me at forums.goingprepared.com, and I have the fire steels and the petroleum jelly cotton balls both up for sale at goinggear.com. Thanks for watching.